I am very happy to be taking part in the 11th Joint Conference of Chief Ministers and Chief Justices for two reasons. Firstly, because we are meeting after 6 long years. Secondly, amongst the public representatives, this is an opportunity for us to learn from your rich experience, knowledge, and wisdom that you have acquired in public life. The Constitution provides for separation of powers between the three organs, clearly outlining their sphere of functioning, delineating their power and responsibilities. It is the harmonious and coordinated functioning among the three organs of the state that has preserved and strengthened the democratic foundation of this great nation over the last 7 decades. While discharging our duties, we all must be mindful of the Lakshmana Rekha. The judiciary would never come in the way of governance if it is in accordance with law. We share your anxiety and concern regarding the welfare of the people. If a Tahsildar acts upon a grievance of a farmer regarding land survey or a ration card, the farmer would not think of approaching the court. If a municipal authority or a Gram Panchayat discharges its duty properly, the citizens need not look to courts. If revenue authorities acquire land through due process of law, the courts would not be burdened by land disputes. Apparently, these cases account to 66% of pendency. It is beyond my understanding as to why interdepartmental disputes of the governments or fights between public sector undertakings and the governments end up in courts. If service laws are applied fairly in matters of seniority, pension, and so on, no employee will be compelled to go to courts. It is well known and acknowledged fact that government are the biggest litigants. According to the statistics, it is nearly 50% of the cases. The decisions of the court are not implemented by governments for years together. The resultant contempt petitions are a new category of burden on the courts, which is a direct result of defiance by governments. Deliberate inaction by the governments, despite judicial pronouncements, are not good for the health of democracy. At times, ambiguities in legislation also add to existing legal issues. If the legislature passes a law with clarity of thought, foresight, and with people's welfare in mind, the scope of litigation gets minimized. The legislature is expected to solicit the views of the public and debate the bills clause by clause, threadbare, before enacting a law. When I expressed concern about the passing of laws without much legislative scrutiny on the 15th August last year, I was misunderstood by some quarters. Let there be no doubt, I have the highest regard for the legislature and the elected representatives. I was merely pointing towards certain deficiencies. Interestingly, my sentiments of law making in India were shared by none other than the Honorable Lok Sabha Speaker, Sri Om Birla, who reportedly a few weeks back, I quote, "Law should be made after thorough debates and discussions, incorporating the needs of the aspirational sections of the society," unquote. Based on these principles, one can safely summarize that often litigation is triggered because of two major reasons. One is non-performance by various wings of the executive. Second is the legislature not realizing its full potential. The rising number of frivolous litigations in an area of concern. For example, the well-meaning concept of public interest litigation is at times turning into personal interest litigation. No doubt, PIL has served a lot of public interest. However, it is sometimes being misused to stall projects or pressurize public authorities. These days, PIL has become a tool for those who want to settle scores or corporate rivalry. Realizing the potential for misuse, courts are now highly conscious in the entertaining of the same. I have been a strong proponent of Indianization of the justice delivery system. By Indianization, I mean increasing accessibility by molding the system to suit the needs and sensibilities of the Indian population. It is a multi-dimensional concept. It calls for inclusivity, providing access to justice, removal of language barriers, reforms in practice and procedure, development of infrastructure, filling up of vacancies, augmenting the strength of the judiciary, and so on. Another important factor in promoting access to justice is filling up of the vacancies, increasing and sanction strength of judges. As on today, out of 1,104 sanctioned posts of High Court judges, there are 388 vacancies. From day one, it has been my endeavor to fill up judicial vacancies. We have made 180 recommendations for appointing in various courts during the last 1 year. Out of this, 126 appointments has been made. I thank the Government of India for clearing the names. However, 50 proposals are still waiting for approval. The High Courts have sent 100 names, which is yet to reach us. The data reveals the earnest efforts being made by the judiciary to fill the vacancies. Honorable Chief Ministers and Chief Justices, all that I can say is that it is the active collaboration based on our collective wisdom that can take us forward. Please remember, it is only the judicial process that is adversarial, not the judges or their judgments. We are merely discharging our constitutionally assigned role. Judgments are meant for delivering justice and should be seen as such. Let us work together for fulfilling the constitutional mandate. As Aristotle once said, law should govern and those in power should be servants of the law. Before I end, I would like to quote a few words of Mahatma Gandhi. I quote, "Man becomes great exactly in the degree in which he works for the welfare of his fellow men," unquote. It is in this spirit that we must strive to achieve the highest degree of greatness for our institutions. This is the befitting tribute that we can pay to our freedom fighters in these 75 years of the independence. Thank you very much for giving this opportunity.